YouTube Nation, Manfit TV, aka Me TV, aka gamers are getting screwed again, but apparently they don't care. It doesn't bother them apparently. As long as they get their game, as long as they get that crack in, it doesn't matter. That's what it comes down to, because the companies, man, the news that we have this week, it's crazy. It's just crazy. Companies are not going to be happy until they run this into the ground and there's nothing left. Or should I say, until the shareholders walk away. That's what it's going to come down to, and then they'll be coming back to you gamers. But we're going to talk about this, and I want to say thank you for watching the show. Thank you for sending me information. I just want to get into this real quick, guys. You know who we're going to start off with, as usual, because that's, man, you've got to be kidding me. Like, EA, check this out, guys. Gamers and publishers worldwide log in on Origins. EA comes out and says this, check this out. Our fastest growing user base demonstrates the interest of gamers across the world in a fully connected 365-day digital game experience. I'll talk about this in a minute, okay? But it goes to show you that they're really looking at Origin numbers. I'll talk about it in a minute. All right, it says, we've committed to evolving and expanding Origin to help players get the absolute most out of their games. Apparently, they didn't see all the YouTube videos of gamers, saying, please, EA, stop banning us for having an opinion. But apparently they don't care. All right, and it says, and we're just getting started. Now, guys and ladies, all right, let's get into this. Because as you know, last week, in last week's video, man, but I'll talk about that later. All right, last week, you guys had said that if you wanted to try the demo for Syndicate, that you would have to sign up for Origins. For the demo, you had to sign up, and I said they did the same thing with NBA Jam. If you downloaded, the NBA Jam demo, you couldn't play it unless you signed up for Origins. You know what? Remember when there was a time when companies would make a demo, and we're going to talk about this real quick. We're going back, all right? They make a demo and say to you guys, please try our demo. Maybe if you like it, you'll support us, right? These days, it's if you want to try our demo, you're going to have to sign up for our service. Or if you want to try our demo, you're going to have to put $5 down at GameStop to get it. And if you don't, we don't need you. You see how things have changed? Do you see? I mean, I'm just saying that it's gone too far. You've given the companies the power. You really have. And gamers, obviously, you just don't care. As long as you get that crack, right? As long as you get that game, it doesn't matter. All right? Because you don't care about the future of what's going on. You don't think things are going to get worse? You don't think they're going to follow the leader when other people do something? And if it works, if the gamers accept it, then other people aren't going to catch on? I'll explain. All right? EA says that they like Call of Duty's Elite Sub Service. They like it so much that there's a possibility Battlefield 3 could be getting a sub service. Now, you guys have said that, with the Elite, you're pretty much just getting, advanced stat tracking, all these other little, how can I put it, bells and whistles that you had in Modern Warfare 2. So, can you imagine what EA is going to do? Could you imagine? Like, guys, this is just going to get worse. This is what they're doing. Like I said last week, they're testing you to see how far they can push you. That's what they do. But that's not all. No. Mass Effect 3, or should I say, Mass Effect 4 may be coming. That's right. Now, a lot of you guys had said, Mass Effect 3 is the end-all be-all. They said there was going to be an end. No, they didn't. All right? They said it'll be the end for Shepard. It doesn't mean it's going to be the end for Mass Effect 4. Why? Because it's more likely going to come, and they've already said at BioWare to keep your Mass Effect 3 saves. They've already said it. Yeah, I know. And no, that's not all. That's not all right? Mass Effect 3, apparently, we all know the game isn't out yet, but apparently gamers can pre-order the DLC from Dust before it even launches. They're going to keep nickel and diming you, and as long as you support it, they'll keep doing it. It's really that simple. Now, we're going to move on because you Saints Row fans, I know you like this franchise. I know you like the company because of what they've done. You think they're putting in a lot of hard work and things of that nature, and you feel that, they deserve that respect. However, they don't feel the same way about you. They don't feel you deserve the respect because Saints Row Designer comes out and says, bring on the used game lockouts. They're ready for used games to be locked out. So they have a problem, apparently, with you, the consumer, looking out for your best interest in this economy. They want to be paid in full, and if you don't pay them in full, they don't need you. That's what they're saying. Now, you guys had said on the fan page, it says, or you could give gamers $60 worth of content would be another way to solve the resell issues, Mr. Saints Row Designer. This is how dumb does he think we are? It says, of course we know all the money goes to the reseller when we buy used. But this is another reason why we don't support companies that do business like this guy who pretty much says, we can take you or leave you. It's really that simple. That's what they're pretty much saying. Who would want to give anybody their money who would say we can take you or leave you? If anything, they should be working hard to try to get you to come to their side. Give you more bonuses, more positives to come to your side. You just don't say, oh, we don't need you. That's horrible. That's hard. That's bad business. That's what that is. You ask any businessman, the last thing you want to do is insult the customer that you're trying to bring over to your side. But it doesn't matter. I got some write-ups for you guys that you may be interested in reading. There's ones forget used game sales. Some new game sales don't even pay their creators. So the whole used game, new game thing, yeah, it's out the window now. All right, because even if you buy new, they're not getting paid enough. It doesn't matter. Also, check this out, guys. Ubisoft, next week, some of their games won't work on PC, even single player. Why? They're doing a restructure. Apparently, they're doing some type of restructure with their servers, and because those games have online, that's right, online, always DRM, you won't be able to play your games because they're taking down the servers. That's right, your single player games, you won't be able to play them. See, now this is the problem with online, always DRM. Now, I want to say this because when you guys said, why not duplicate, then delete? It says that way there will be no transitional period. Now, I understand that, but it will probably cost them a lot of money, and they don't want to go that way. But this is the problem why you have online DRM. Like I said, at this point, they're telling you when you can play your game. That's what it comes down to. It has nothing to do with piracy, all right? Because as we all know, when you try to go against anti-piracy things, you try to make all these things, it actually provokes it even more. But we're going to keep going on, guys, all right? Because there's another write-up. Gaming with big business equals game over. Game over. That's right. And it goes on about shareholders and things of that nature and how they don't care about the customer, things of that nature. It's a pretty interesting write-up. Also, another one of these companies are becoming more and more greedy. I told you, they're going to keep taking these steps. These are all write-ups that, blogs and write-ups that you guys can read if you're interested, okay? Now, here's something that we have to get into because this is very interesting, all right? Japan arrests its first console modder. Now, look, all right, I have a big problem with this due to the fact that if you're going to arrest people, you arrest them for real crimes. I'm sorry, but when people get killed and all this other no, all right? Modding your console is legal because you had to pay for the console to begin with, didn't you? But we're going to get into this because you guys said private modified Wiis are still allowed, but pirated CDs are not allowed anymore, okay? So you can mod your console, but you can't pirate CDs. That's where it comes down to. That's where the law is, all right? It says, the irony, it says, please game companies, stop it. You're supposed to provide entertainment for us, or at least a fragment of the truth to us gamers. It says we want to enjoy your games, even if they are pirated. It says, please let us live peacefully. It says these pirated things are still being paid for anyway. That's what one fan said. Now, it's true, because I understand that you have to put in money in order to even pirate something. You have to buy, if you're going to pirate something like off the computer, you had to buy the computer, didn't you? All right? Or you have to buy a certain amount of tools, we'll say. But I understand people will say you can still buy used and get them dirt cheap. Yes, but you're still giving out money, all right? With that Wii, he had to buy the Wii first, didn't he? All right, but I understand people are going to say, Revent, you're wrong, because they shouldn't be pirated to begin with. And I understand that people aren't going to play this. We talked about last week how when you're in certain countries, you cannot expect people to buy these games at top dollar. And some of you guys last week got back to me and said, from Australia and said, yeah, we pay, and even in the UK, you guys pay a lot more than we do here in the States for games. And it's ridiculous when you get screwed over. So I definitely understand that. In Japan, they should understand what they're getting into anyway, all right, when it comes to the electronics. Because remember, that's the mecca of, of gaming. So they should understand this. But to arrest some guy over I don't want to say pirating. All he did was mod his console. He didn't even get the chance to pirate games. He just modded the console. We don't even know what it was for. We don't know what he was going to do with it. I mean, I understand you're going to say, well, you should know what he's going to do with it, but that's not the point. You need concrete proof that that's what he was going to do with if you're going to charge him with anything. That's how the law works. All right, but let's move on, because talk about pirates. David Jaffe comes out and calls out the pirates. All right, he says, and I'm going to get a little nasty for a minute, because it says, you are a common fucking thief, and you should have been raised better by your parents. You are stealing other people's work, and that's a shame. I feel bad for you. I wouldn't want to be you. Says the guy who thinks that on this DLC that you can't, unlock is okay. Says the guy who says that customers shouldn't be worried about it. Says the guy who has a new game getting ready to come out. I'm telling you, Jaffe, you should have kept your mouth shut on this one. This is going to backfire on you. It really is, because you have a new game coming out, and people in EU understand Twisted Metal has been delayed for you guys, all right? Like I said, this game has a number of problems. Like I said, we've already seen it. You had a one-day patch for a demo. You gotta be kidding me. But understand that you should have kept your mouth shut, Jaffe. You really should have, all right? You should have waited till at least Twisted Metal got out there first, people were buying it, and then made these comments. You don't make these comments before. Man. You just don't. And the thing is, Jaffe has never said anything about this type of thing until everyone else made a big deal about it. He's a follower. He's not a leader. And we've seen that before. Every time he says something, it's because, you know, someone else has said something before that. Or he got sick and tired of it after years and years. Remember when he talked about, oh, the politics in gaming and things of that nature? He just got fed up with it. And for years, he tried to avoid it instead of, you know, facing it like a man head on. Yeah. Like I said, I have no respect for this guy. I don't care what game he makes at this point. But let's keep going, because since he wants to talk about on this DLC and how you guys, you know, you shouldn't be worried about it and things of that nature. You should just take it, pretty much take it in the ass. That's what he's saying. You should take it how it comes. Actually, for those who don't know, it is not illegal to hack your disc to get the DLC locked on the disc. It's not illegal to do that. And we actually have video proof of it.
Welcome to another edition of Pack Attack. This week's question from Blackout Now. His name has the word now in it, so of course he starts the question with the word now. Nowadays, there exist retail games. I love people who talk like that. With locked content on their disc, game modes, characters. This content will then be released a few days or weeks later for extra money by paying for a code which unlocks the stuff. Is it legal that publishers can charge us for things we already have paid for? That's an easy one. Completely legal. Absolutely, positively legal. You haven't paid for it. You've paid for a disc. Arguably, if you are smart enough to crack the code and get into that content, arguably you couldn't be prosecuted. So good for you if you're able to figure out how to crack the code. If you remember back in the day, this is going back like 100 years to Hot Coffee, 2005, there was locked content. It wasn't released for extra money. It was locked because the publisher, Take-Two, Rockstar, decided that it was too racy and would cause the game to get an AO rating, adults only rating, instead of M. So they locked it and people cracked the code. And initially, Take-Two's response to cracking the code was that the people who were playing the Hot Coffee portion of the game had illegally obtained that content, and so they're trying to absolve themselves of any liability. They lost that one, so I guess it's okay to crack the code.
That is very interesting, and we have an example, because you guys sent me this and said, a gamer hacked Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 to show the unreleased costumes, including Mega Skin. It says, he released this video so you can see all of the costumes in full motion. Included is the Lost Magneto DLC costume, which is already on the disc. Now, mind you, they were going to make you pay for it until the big, uproar about the costume. But all of these are already on the disc. Let's look at them real quick.
You wouldn't last at my brotherhood. Gravity squeeze! You are the disruptor! Awesome! Air combo! Still go. Straight. Give me straight. Maximum. Air combo. Great magic. Fire dragon. Air combo. Great magic. Fire dragon.
You remind me of my circus days, clown.
Grace of hot flames of multi impact ball. Impact ball. Impact ball. Stellar mission. Excellent. Hang apart. Just like air. Mighty swing. You can't run away. You're in for a whirlwind. Beautiful. Swing. Mighty swing. Yes. Hang apart. Just like air. Mighty swing. Air combo. Like furnace in your cannon flame. Air combo. Dude. Good.
Engaged in battle.
Air combo. Level 2. Use their end. Air combo. You weak Gamma.
Thanks, Capcom, for screwing over gamers, and thank you, gamers, for falling for it. Oh yeah, by the way, Street Fighter vs. Tekken has gone gold. So, get ready for it again. But let's move on, because I want to talk about more DLC news. We got a lot of DLC news for you guys, alright? Microsoft's Flight Day 1 DLC could be asking too much due to the fact that this game is free to play. So on the first day, you're going to bring out DLC? Is that what you want to do, Microsoft? Alright, but let's keep going. Surge Concerto to have monthly download chapters. That's right, paid DLC. That's right, here we go. We're going again. Here we go. Starhawk, Day 1 map pack when you get the limited edition. So DLC on the first day already. It's probably, more likely, it's probably on the disc anyway. All right, because you know, Starhawk online game, people are going to want the maps. All right, but they want you to pre-order. It's just, I'm sorry, the limited edition. That's what you have to do, pre-order, right? But let's keep going. Ace Attorney, 123 HD available for iOS. Now, we got to talk about this. One of you fans had said they are giving you 3 options. Either you have the first 2 chapters free, buy the rest separately, or buy it in full. Alright, so they're giving you 3 different options, but as you know, a lot of people aren't going to be happy with that. Somebody's going to find a problem with that, alright? But let's move on. UFC Undisputed 3, downloadable content plans, outline and detail. You're not getting your whole game, or you know what? I'm not going to talk about that. The link is in the info bar for you guys on that one, alright? This is interesting. Gotham City Imposters is launching with $220 worth of DLC at launch. I mean, some of them on Xbox Live, they already have a bunch of it on there. This is crazy. It's crazy. Now, I will go on and say, because it says here that there's 100 DLC items for Gotham City already on live, like I just said. But here's the thing. They're doing this for the gamers who don't want to take the time to unlock all the pieces, so that you can just buy the pieces straight out, all right? However, you don't have to buy these pieces. You can unlock them just by playing the game over and over, and some of you gamers have wanted that. So I'm trying to be fair. I'm not trying to say, oh, they're just trying to get you. No, they're actually giving you 2 different options, all right? Unlike Prototype 2. That's right, Prototype 2, Radnet Edition, to contain over 55 pieces of DLC. If you pre-order the DLC, it includes in-game events, dynamic themes, avatar items, and bonus mutations for the game's main campaign. I have a problem with that, alright? Because you know if you don't pre-order the game, you're not going to get it right away, and it will be DLC. I put it like this. I do not have a problem with dynamic themes. I do not have a problem with avatar items. Things of that nature, I don't have a problem with, because that's more of like a pre-order bonus. But when you're telling me in-game events and bonus mutations that can affect your game's main campaign, I have a problem with that. That's the problem I have with it, because you're not giving gamers the whole game. You're not giving the full experience. You should be ashamed of yourself, all right? But we're going to talk about more about games because of, or should I say, the cost of games, or just how the resolution of games at this point. Sakaguchi comes out and says that HD graphics are excessive for gamers. All right, that it's not. I'm sorry, not for games, but for games in general. You don't need HD graphics. We've talked about this before. How it's not graphics that make the game. It's gameplay and it's story and things of that nature. You don't need to have these great, these blockbuster Hollywood graphics in order to enjoy a game. All right, and when you guys came out and said, right there, he already seen that graphics isn't a seller. It's the gameplay and the imagination of your work that will bring people to buy your game more. Give them a reason to buy and keep your game, and don't BS them in the long run. Now, I want to talk about this a little bit, because you should know by now, the way games are today, the way they're built, it's microwave gaming. That's what it is. And instead of them giving you more quality to hold on to that game like they used to do back in the day, what do now? They try to nickel and dime you with DLC to hope that you would keep the game even longer. You have to understand, if you make a microwave game, the faster somebody's going to beat it and trade it in. So you're actually your own worst enemy at this point. Give people quality and you will see, and longevity, and you will see less and less, game trade-ins so fast. That's what you'd say, so fast. I'm just saying, all right? But speaking of HD graphics, it goes to show you guys that when you try to work so much with HD graphics and overall presentation, sometimes you can miss a lot of the bugs that come with your games.
There it is. What the fuck? There it is. Oh. What the fuck happened to her this time? Oh, fucking teleport!
In more gaming news, Capcom, that's right, their net sales have slumped 29%. Good. I don't have a problem with that. Look, if you listen to your fans, I hope you learn from this. More than likely you won't. But if you listen to your fans, I'm not saying you have to listen to all of them, all right? But if you listen to the core base of your fans, you know what they want. You would see more sales in certain games. We just saw not too long ago Svensson crying about how Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 didn't sell as much as he expected it to sell. Well, maybe if you listen to the fan base, it wouldn't have been a problem. It would have sold more. But I know a lot of you guys will come in here, all you little, Marvel vs. Capcom fans are going to say, oh, but they did listen to the fans. They didn't listen to everyone. They said it themselves. I reported this a couple months ago. They said they didn't listen to everyone. There's no excuse. And if you think I'm wrong on that, then you're saying Capcom's wrong on it, all right? Because that's where I got the information from. They said it themselves, all right? But you know what? Let's move on in some very sad news. Very sad news. A gamer lies dead in an internet cafe for 9 hours. For 9 hours. And guess what? Nobody notices. Nobody knows it. So you telling me the staff doesn't notice someone slumped over? You gonna tell me his fellow gamers didn't realize anything was wrong, that they were too busy caught up in their own little video game world, that they couldn't see that the person next to him or whatever was down and out and he was dead? Are you, come on. Come on. That is sickening. That is pathetic. You know what? I want to get off the negative news. I really do. We want to start on positive news, all right? A charity, that's right. Charity called Calm, all right, has been named the official Street Fighter vs. Tekken charity partner in the UK. And I'm going to talk about you EU gamers in a minute. I know you guys have sent me a ton of mail this week. A lot of you fighting fans sent me a ton of mail. We're going to get into it in a minute, all right? But I want to go back from last week, all right? What did I say to you guys about taking your time and playing games and going out and enjoying life and things of that nature in the beginning of last week's video? Well, check this out. A college student goes 90 days without tech. We're talking cell phone, email, and social networking, and he got his girlfriend back. See? I told you not everything. I understand that it's not just about video games, but if you play everything in moderation, you'll be fine. You don't have to just hardcore go into it and just ignore everyone. Go get your life back. This guy did. He did. Now I'll talk about last week because, man, that was quite a ride last week. I mean, majority of you guys were very supportive. I want to thank you guys for being so supportive of what I had to say last week. And of course, there's a couple jackasses out there as well, all right, who think that my word is the end-all, be-all. I've never said that. It was my opinion. If you don't like it, well, then move on. It's really that simple. But when I'm talking about establishing a community, so where we care for each other and we watch each other's back through thick and thin, even if it means sacrificing, well, guess what? That's what a community is. If you're not for that, then you're in the wrong place. Your place is not here. All right? There are millions of other channels that you can go and act like a selfish douche. There is. All right? But I want to talk about this because one of you gamers came out and said something about the community. He said, really though, I learned a lot from joining this community, especially from the people on this fan page, which is, the fan page. It says, I may not be the shit. It says, but I'll pass on all I've learned to everyone because I want to make friends and I want our community to grow. All right, and that's what it's about. It's about respecting each other, like I said. And people think that I kicked those guys out because they didn't disagree. No, because they're acting like assholes. We can sit and talk about games. I said last week, I'm not going to fight over games over the internet. It's not going to happen. All right, we can sit and talk about games without getting nasty with each other. But when you start throwing out accusations and insults, yeah, it's not called for. You have to check yourself. Seriously, you're getting mad over what somebody said about a video game. Check yourself. It's not the end-all be-all. It really isn't. If you feel as though you're going to get that upset over what somebody has to say about a game, don't even go out in the real world. Just don't, all right? Your world will be crushed as far as I'm concerned. But let's keep going. It says, I bet that even sponsored gamers or pros, whatever it says, like Kayane and Daigo would want the community to grow. Probably. I really don't know their stances on the community to say such things. I know that they've done things for their community and then, you know, with outreach and things of that nature, but I don't really know their stance, so I can only just take your word for that. It says, but hey, we really can't expect everyone to see the bigger picture. When they are too busy trying to be top ranked online or gain more achievements to show off. And you know what? Those achievements, the top ranked on competition has killed, you know what I mean, gaming. I'm talking about not just in fighting games and things of that nature. I'm talking like, oh, you got this little shiny award, this little virtual award. It's killed gaming. It is absolutely killed gaming. I can't believe how many videos are out there where guys try to flash off their trophies and say, see, I'm the man because I have all these trophies. That is very shallow. Very. And I'm calling you on it. I really am. That's pathetic, all right? I'm sure we all have our fair share of trophies because you just want to beat the game. You want to meet the challenges that the developers give you. And some of those challenges those developers give you is a joke. It's like, I'm not doing that. No way, all right? But it happens, all right? But I need to talk about, we're gonna go back. We're going to go back because a couple people have messaged me this week, which was really cool. First off, I want to talk about, I've showed on the show, Cape Town Showdown. They have done it again. That's right. And it's interesting. This is what they had to say. They said, just letting you know, the CTS tournament was a great success. It was amazing to see so much fighting talent on display. And many of them are new players too. All right. So the new guys, they're stepping up. They're stepping up because the rest of us, like I said, some of us, like me, we're dinosaurs when it comes to gaming, all right? We're dinosaurs. You know, we come old school. They don't care about us anymore. But to see the new guys, for them to give credit and step up for the new guys, I like to see that, all right? It says, we filmed the main matches for all the different titles. Now, I'm going to show you a little bit of Street Fighter, all right? Because they had so many on their YouTube page. There's King of Fighters, there's Mortal Kombat, there's all of them. But let's just take a look at the competition that they have going on out there at Cape Town.
First to three.
Sorry?
First to three.
First to three.
But you have to come out of the losers bracket, so you have to reduce it.
Yeah. Good luck, guys.
Oh, it's just all.
It's the battle of the century.
Not bad. Do you see how in the flow of the game it is? It's not so robotic, and you are seeing some combos, and even if they miss, they pull back. That's what fighting games are about. That's what it's about. It's about the flow of combat, and they're not just saying, oh, I'm going to be robotic and just try to do combos all day. No, all right? Yes, combos are part of the game, but you do what you got to do to win unless there's some rules in place. Now, they go on to say, hopefully, those are the kind of skills that will be able to bring the level of competition for the Arizona tournament. I heard you mention in an earlier video, and this is, now look, Arizona, they're recognizing you right now. So it's interesting that they would bring them up because on Wednesday, I got an email from Gold Team Arizona, right? And they say, hey, event, just another message to keep you updated and whatnot on what we're trying to do here in Phoenix, Arizona. It says, turns out it's pretty hard to find a location that will let you host a tournament here. It says, all I have so far is a local church that will let us use a room. It says, don't know how long that will fly when the fatalities start. And it's funny you say that, but look, I put it like this. If a church has a problem with, you guys playing, say, Mortal Kombat and doing fatalities, try to explain to them that you guys are just looking for a safe haven to play. You're staying out of trouble. You guys are trying to be friendly. It's about camaraderie, and that, you just want to play games. Just try to explain to them so that they don't, get that stigma of people in the outside world have who aren't gamers, who think all video games are violent, they turn you into vicious killers and things of that nature. Explain to them exactly what's going on. I'm sure they wouldn't have a problem with it. But I think it's hilarious that you would add that, we don't know how long the church is going to go for once we start killing people. So, but I mean, yeah, everything should be fine. But like I said before, what you're going through is what a lot of tournaments went through, all right, in the past. Trying to find locations, trying to, have this type of uprising, I dare I say a rise to power, but those are the things, those are the bumps, along the road that you go through. So I wish you guys the best luck, and you guys have sent me a video. So let's see what their Mortal Kombat skills look like.
X-ray! X-ray, you fool! X-ray, you fool! X-ray! Hey, buddy.
Now see, that's what I like to see. The fun, I want to talk about this for a minute. Guys, did you notice, and ladies, have you noticed in pretty much every video I have shown you today when it comes to fighting games of that nature, everyone, did you notice in the background, everyone's like, oh, why? Because they're having fun. That's what it comes down to. That's what it's about. Don't you understand that gamers just want to have fun without the companies trying to screw them? Gamers just want to have fun without someone trying to be a dick to them. That's what it comes down to, all right? So these competitions, people are going over there, they're shaking hands, they're getting to know each other personally, and it's all within the realm of competition and having fun. It's not like online where people, I have 200 wins, I'm the man, blah, 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 you suck, blah, blah. You don't see that. No. Why? Because people who act like that obviously have no social skills, all right? Or they're just acting like losers just to do it. It's stupid. All right? Like I said, there's no room for those type of people. I don't have a problem with people playing online, but don't act like idiots, people. Seriously. I mean, what do you gain out of it? Nothing. Like I said, respect your fellow gamers when it comes to those type of things, and you may just find some great competition around. I'm just so happy to see so many people having fun with the game. Like, that's what it's about. That's what it brings you back. Because that, man, but that's not all. All right, you guys in EU, I said I was going to get to this. You guys, you got something going on here, so I'm going to explain, all right, guys? I'll explain this. It says, hey, event. I recently joined a website that hosts fighting game tournaments on Xbox Live. I don't know if you're aware, but a lot of the forums and websites that do online gaming tournaments don't very often cater to Xbox players, which is a shame. And these guys are also giving out real prizes and their own products. They're only, just starting, but they've already done quite a bit. It says it's mainly an EU thing. It says because I think they're trying to start a bit of a fighting game community in the EU. It says, or at least make a scene a bit more popular over here. It says, unfortunately, the fighting communities in the UK especially are few and far between, and also too small to warrant long distance journeys. It says, anyway, they recently got sponsorship from Mad Catz. It says, and are going to host a Street Fighter vs. Tekken tournament to try and get a bit better known with some, some generous prizes that will be open to players anywhere. It says, I was also going to ask if you wouldn't mind mentioning the website in one of your videos. It would really help them, and I think it would really be good to help our little community expand. Well, you want me to mention your website, right? No. I'll do better than that, all right? hopefully that helped, and I want to say good luck on your tournament. Please keep me notified or updated on what's going on there, all right? Now, I need to move on because, guys, we have to talk about this. Last week at the end of the video, we talked about a petition, and it was in Oklahoma City, how a guy needed 100 signatures, all right? 100 signatures to get his arcade up and running with city council, to get it passed. Well, I am proud to say, that's right, y'all thought I was going to get mad, right? No, I am proud to say today that you guys stepped up, and within that day, he got his signatures. I want to say thank you guys for that, all right? Because I told you, it's about gamers stepping up and helping other gamers. We've made history. And I know a lot of you guys can say, well, we made history, we just signed a petition. No, understand, all right? This channel has become bigger than what I have ever imagined. Knowing that we have stuck together and have changed things, and that we can make a change, even if it's as little as to sign a petition to him to get his arcade up, that's all that matters. That goes to show you the proof is there. And everyone, listen, no matter how many naysayers come on here and say, you can't do this, this sucks, you suck, or whatever, it doesn't matter. We have the proof in our backing. That's all that matters. They have nothing. Nothing at all. But you have to just please take solace in the fact that you did something good. You did something positive. This guy is moving on. Hopefully, I mean, since he'll keep me updated as well what happens. But there is more news. That's right. Another arcade has stepped in. And I'm going to talk to you guys now about it, because when you guys got back to me, all right, it says, Vent, I sent you a link a couple days ago on Twitter. It says, on something great happening where I live in Minneapolis, Minnesota. All right, so all you people in Minneapolis, listen up, Minnesota. All right, it says, there's a father and daughter who opened up a retro video arcade called Rusty Quarters. It says, I had a chance to go and see it for myself on Saturday. It says, I was amazed and nearly wanted to cry on seeing all the old, in capital, it says, great. It says, games they had there. It says, here's a link to the local newspaper article about it. I will put the link in the info bar for you guys to see, okay? Now it says, I'm thinking of heading there with my phone and recording some video with their permission to put on the YouTube page. Please, if you go, let me know what's going on, all right? It says, I saw 20, 30-year-old people there shaking their hands and thanking them over and over again for the arcade. Whoever I talk to locally about this place is super excited that these old games will exist, and I feel the same old great game culture, arcade culture whenever I walk in there. It says, it's amazing to me that these have fallen so far to forget that this is where everything came from. I'm talking about games in general, all right? It says, it's how it all started, and that's what gaming is all about. It's a fun environment to socialize and build friendships. Just talked about not too long ago. Thank you for sending me that information, really, because like I said, arcades, that's what they did back then. I know a lot of you guys, you're new to, gaming. You haven't been, exposed to that experience. So I understand there's going to be, dare I say, a generation clash. I understand that, all right? But at this point, you got to either take our word for it or go out and get the experience, man. You have no idea how great it was back then. You have no idea. It was an amazing thing. It's almost like it was a phenomenon that has pretty much spawned what it is today. Then you have to understand why us old school guys are so angry at the way things have turned. It's okay to have online. It's okay to do these type of things. But the way the companies have treated you and what we had back then, completely different. Completely. Now I want to move on, guys. I know a lot of you guys complained last week about mobile not working on the videos, right? And it happened in actually not just this video, last week's gaming video, but also on, earlier this week's the sports video, the mobile was disabled. And I have to explain to you guys that it is not my call. When I use, like I said, when a trailer or something, when a video is copyrighted, when it comes to YouTube, it's up to the copyright holder and YouTube whether to disable certain things. So when you try to use mobile, it says the author has authorized, permission to use mobile. It's not me. Even though it says it's me, it's not me. All right? They take that option away from you. YouTube, as of late, has decided to give companies more footing. All right? They can go into, now that, when they try to block a video or say, hey, it says you're fine as long as we can, put ads in your video, you're fine. But they also now have the ability to go into your settings and disable certain things like syndication in mobile. So I cannot do anything about that if there is some type of copyright issue, all right? That is up to YouTube and it's up to the copyright holder. Now, I want to explain this because this is what you guys said. What was the point of Google doing a partial blackout if all they're going to do was roll over to the companies anyway, and now the users are being affected? It says YouTube is not for the user anymore. It's for the companies to cram ads down your throat and promote their product and videos. Now, I have to say this. Now, he is right to an extent. There are a number of videos. Now that this new YouTube change is getting ready to happen in March, there's been a lot of YouTubers who have been upset. They are so upset that they decided to leave YouTube. And I understand that. They want to go to a different venue. I've been thinking about going to a different venue myself. I've been thinking about just sticking with Dailymotion. There are no restrictions, all right? And a lot of you guys keep saying, well, you're not showing this video, you're not showing that video. The reason I don't show certain trailers is because they're blocked. I can't do nothing about that, guys. You have to understand, the companies swoop in, they see it, they take it. They think that you're stealing, like you're going to make so much money off of their trailer. That's what they think, all right? You guys know I don't do this for, for any money. This is fun. This is fun for me. All right? But they think otherwise. They're going to see any opportunity where they can make a little bit of dough. That's what it comes down to. And because they're, taking out mobile is what I'm hearing the excuses why is because they can put ads on your PC, but they can't do it through your mobile phone or your iPad or whatever. So that's why. So they absolutely just cut out mobile altogether because they can't advertise to you. And if you notice, I don't put advertisements really on my show. When you see those little pop-up bars that come up, that's because of the copyright holder. That's what it comes up to when it comes to videos and that nature. You don't see no 30-second commercials before this show. No, because I hate it. All right? I don't care about commercials. If I want to watch commercials, I watch TV. All right? I don't want to see it on my internet. All right? But it is what it is. Anyways, I've been thinking about moving to Dailymotion. I'm not sure if I'm going to make the move just yet, but I'll be damned if I'm going to sit here and have to put up a YouTube video, and then for mobile users, I'll have to put up a Dailymotion video. Now, Dailymotion has, dare I say, some better qualities when it comes to videos. Like I said, not just restriction, but even with timing. When they say something it's going to take X amount of minutes, it actually gives you a real-time countdown on how long it's going to take. YouTube, it can say, let's just say, 56 minutes, right? And it still won't be done in 2 hours. That's not real time. That's their, upload time. That's a little bit different. But with Dailymotion, they actually give you a countdown so you know. It makes things easier. But like I said, I'm thinking about moving. Like I said, because as far as I'm concerned, the videos, I'm going to keep doing them. And if YouTube wants to, screw people over, then I don't need YouTube. There's many other places you can go. A guy, not too long ago, I read on their complaint forums how he was doing animation, music videos, and he did 50 of them last year. Within this new year, because he was able to watch them all on his mobile, within this new year, he can't watch any of them. Can't. It just goes to show you they're just giving power to the companies. But that doesn't matter. I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do yet. I just want to throw it out there to you guys as a precaution, okay? Just for you guys, if I have to move on, just get ready. If you want to move on with me, it's fine. Like I said, there's always the fan page. There's always the Twitter. There's always a way to get in contact with me. Always. And just because if I decide to start putting new videos on Dailymotion, not YouTube, that doesn't mean I'm going to shut down the channel here. I'll still be able to be, in contact with you guys. So, I'm done for this week. It's been okay, I know we started off bad, but that end, man, that really means a lot to me. And like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching the show. I want to thank you guys for sending me all that information. That's some great information this week. I will talk to y'all later. Y'all be safe. I'm out.